Hello, my friends. I'm here to talk to you today about what yoga really is. I don't really talk about yoga all that often here on my channel, but it is a huge part of my life. In fact, this week marks my 20th anniversary with yoga. I remember the very first time I walked into a yoga class, I was in college. I had a broken heart and I was just looking for something to calm my mind. And I remember my teacher, wonderful Barbara Feldman, who taught at Boston University and had studied with Iyengar. I didn't know anything about who that was. And she taught us poses, which I thought were the sum total of yoga. I thought it was all about physical movements. And every time I left that class, I felt different. I felt calmer. I felt more in control of my life. I felt less anxious. And that was really important to me at that time because I had a lot of anxiety and I did not feel good in my body most of the time. So it was a huge gift, but it took me a really long time of studying yoga to really understand at a deep level what it was doing for me in my life. Yoga is so much more than poses. I'm sure you've heard this before. Those poses are about us getting into a state where our mind is clear, where our body is calm, so our nervous system is calm. And what we're doing is we're actually strengthening our nervous system so that we can deal with all of the chaos and the things going on in the world. That's why yoga is such a gift nowadays. But yoga is so much more than just those poses. So yoga is a science that is a way of looking at life. So my main teacher, Dr. Robert Svoboda, his mentor, the Agori Vimalananda, said, the real yoga is to make every home a happy home. And I have taken this so deeply to heart. Yoga is communication. It's about really showing up and being honest about what we want and need. I know that sounds like a broad interpretation of yoga, but it's so true. It's about purifying things within ourselves, our own neuroses, the things that block us from being able to tell the truth. Do I have fear around what that person's going to say back to me? Can I not even access what my truth is because I'm so far away from my own intuition? Like, it forces you to ask these questions so that you can get really clear, so that you can show up in full honesty with another person. And that process, that alchemy, is yoga. That's what we're doing when we're on the mat. We're practicing that alchemy with our physical body. And that penetrates and it goes into the mental body. It goes into the spiritual body, into the soul. So we start with the physical body. We start with the things like the breath. We're supposed to harmonize our breath with our physical movements in yoga, and that can take us very deeply into ourselves. It can turn on our parasympathetic nervous system. So I should just say right now, if you don't know, most of us are in fight or flight mode all day long. If you are stressed, if you are overwhelmed, you're in fight or flight mode. What this means is your body is focusing so much on the stressor that it's not actually dealing with its own needs. It's disturbing your sleep, your digestion, your moods, you name it, your immunity, everything. So we have to cultivate in our lives moments where we go into a parasympathetic mode. This happens naturally when you sleep. This happens when you're relaxed, when you're daydreaming, when you're in a hypnotic state, when you're meditating. These are times when your body can relax. And there's ways that we can actually kick in the parasympathetic mode, which I won't go into, but one is yoga, doing physical movement, doing breath work. And one could even say that meditation is like yoga because the physical postures in yoga are actually partly made so that we can meditate better, so that we can sit and take a seat in meditation and feel comfortable there. So that was the idea behind the physical postures, but the depth of yoga is really about the mind. It's about understanding and controlling our mind, understanding what drives us, what desires are there, what aversions are there, and calming our mind so that we don't have so much reactivity. So to me, this is what the essence of yoga is. It's not about being able to do tricks, which I go to yoga studios sometimes and I'm like, I've been doing yoga for 20 years and I can't do some of the most advanced poses, and I don't care if I ever can. That's not why I'm there. I'm actually there to be in touch with my body, to trigger my parasympathetic nervous system, to feel joy, to open my heart. These are all really valid reasons to do yoga, in my opinion. But you know, it's fun sometimes to be able to do an advanced pose. We feel proud of ourselves. This can be really important. We really have to ask ourselves, though, at what point it becomes our ego or what point we're showing off and why that is. So again, it's a chance to ask ourselves that question. So the challenge of doing some of these poses can bring up the things that need to be dealt with. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. Sometimes when you're in a pose, your body is like, no, I can't do this, I can't. But then you can, and you do it, and you feel so good about your ability to stay with something that feels uncomfortable. And honestly, that more than anything has translated into my life and into my relationships, because being in relationship can be uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes when we don't know something, we might be uncomfortable. When some truth is now at the surface, we can be uncomfortable. But it's important that we're able to lean in, get curious, be open and non-reactive, and see what unfolds. Hopefully we have a communication partner there sitting across the table from us who is also leaning in, who's also curious and non-reactive. So that's the goal. But to me, this is the fruit of a yoga practice, is my ability to stay in uncomfortable situations with people and be curious and learn and be open to whatever may come without feeling fear that I'm a bad person or, you know, not being able to fail every once in a while, because I've failed on the mat and I've pushed myself beyond my limits and I know what I'm able to do. And through that process, I've strengthened my nervous system, which allows me to sit with other people and really be with their pain, with their struggles, even with their reactivity towards me. So when somebody's being reactive to me, I can sit there and think, oh, I feel compassion for this person because they're in a state, right? It's not about me. So this is the beauty of yoga, and I really just wanted to share this with you guys because it has been such a blessing in my life. I don't know where I would be without yoga, and I just want to give this gift to you. This is what informs all of the things that I do. It informs my astrology, it informs my Ayurvedic practice, it informs my use of essential oils. All of the gifts that I bring to this world comes from a foundation of yoga, which I do every single morning as part of my morning practice. So I hope this is helpful to you. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my channel. It's such a gift to have you here, and I look forward to seeing you again.